Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Lab on C++ programming. So in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to overload the shorthand operators such as plus equal to and minus equal to, and also how to overload the operators using the friend functions. So when we use the shorthand operators such as plus equal to or minus equal to, for example let's say x plus equal to 10, it means that x equal to x plus 10. And similarly, if we have x minus equal to 10, then it means that x equal to x minus 10. Alright, now in this tutorial we're gonna overload the plus equal to and minus equal to operators, and we're gonna make them to work with the custom objects that we create. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing that we're gonna do is, for the demonstration purpose, we're gonna create a class called marks. So it's gonna be class marks, and as a private member let's have int mark, and then let's define the public access specifier, and let's have a constructor, the same name as the class name, so it's going to be mark. And here it's not going to take any parameters, and it's going to initialize this mark to a value of 0. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to copy this default constructor and paste it in the next line, and we're going to change that one to take a parameter, and it's going to be an integer parameter, and let's say and we're going to store that in our marks. Right, now we have a class with a class member and two constructors. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to build a public method which is going to print out the value stored in this member mark. So let's call it as void your mark please, and it's not going to take any parameters, and it's going to print out the value of this member mark. So that's why it's going to be cout, and we're going to say your mark is then the mark, and let's end this line. Alright, now we have a class called marks, and we have a member, and we have defined the constructors, and also we have defined a public method. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to overload the plus equal to and minus equal to shorthand operators, and we're going to make them to work with the objects of this class. So what we're going to do is we're going to build plus equal to as a member of this class, and we're going to build minus equal to as a friend function. So first we're going to build the plus equal to. All of us know how to define a operator function when it is a member of the class. So here first we need to specify the return type. So in the previous tutorials we have made our operator to return an object. In this case our operator is not going to return any values, or this operator function is not going to return any values. So it's going to be void, and then the keyword operator, and then the operator which is plus equal to, and then a pair of parentheses, and between this parentheses we need to specify the parameters. So here all of us know when we define the operator function as the member of a class, the current object or the object which calls this operator function will be passed implicitly. That's why if your operator function is taking only one parameter, then you don't need to specify that. But here our operator function is going to take the current object and also an integer value. So here the current object will be passed automatically by the C++, and that's why we're just going to specify the integer value here. So it's going to be int, and let's say bonus mark. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build the body of this operator function. So here we're going to store the value in this mark. So that's why it's going to be mark equal to mark plus bonus mark. Alright, so the current object will be passed implicitly, and we are adding the bonus mark to that current object's mark member. Alright, simple enough. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to overload the minus equal to operator using the friend function. We're going to declare a friend operator function. To do that we need to use the keyword friend, and then the return type which is going to be void, and then we need to write the keyword operator, and then the operator which is minus equal to, And now this operator minus equal to, or this operator function minus equal to, is a friend function of this class. It's not a member function. When the operator function is a member function, the current object will be passed implicitly. When we use a friend function, there will not be any this pointer, and that's why the current object will not be passed implicitly. So we need to specify that here. And also we're gonna take that by reference here, and it's gonna be marks, and let's say and, because we are receiving by reference, and current object or cur obj, and then we're gonna write int, and it's gonna be reduced mark or red mark. All right, and the next thing that we need to do is we need to build the body of this operator friend function. So I'm gonna copy this, and outside the class definition I'm gonna paste that, and we're gonna define the body. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna refer to the mark member of this current object, and we're gonna decrease that by the value in this red mark. So it's gonna be cur obj dot mark, and I can use minus equal to, and it's gonna be red mark. All right, now add a semicolon, and that's it. So now we have defined a class called marks, and we have a member mark, and also we have two constructors and a public method to display the value stored in this member mark. And then we have overloaded the plus equal to and minus equal to shorthand operators. We have overloaded the plus equal to operator as a class member, or we have defined the operator function plus equal to as a class member, and we have written or defined the operator function for the operator minus equal to as a friend function. And the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna create an object of this class marks. So in my main function, it's gonna be the class name, which is marks, and let's say Anil's mark, and we can initialize that right here. Let's say Anil's got a mark of 45. And the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna call the public method, which is gonna display the Anil's mark. So it's gonna be Anil's mark dot and your mark please. All right, next we're going to use the overloaded plus equal to operator, and it's going to be Anil's mark plus equal to, and let's say a value 20. Okay, bonus 20 marks. And then again I'm going to call your mark please. So it's going to be Anil's mark dot your mark please, and as a semicolon, and I'm going to copy this, and again we're going to call, and we're going to use that for the minus equal to. So I'm going to paste that, and I'm going to change this one to minus equal to. All right, now I'm going to save this program. I'm going to build and run this, and now you guys can see Anil's got a mark of 45, and when we overloaded this plus equal to and passed a value of 20, the mark will be incremented and it becomes 65, because 45 plus 20 equals 65. And then we used the overloaded minus equal to operator, and we reduced the mark by 20, and that's why again Anil's mark is 45. And the next thing that I want you guys to show you is, okay, let's create a variable here, and let's say int x, and let's initialize this x with a value of 20. So here we can replace this 20 by a value of x, and if I save this, build and run, I get the same values. All right, now here we have called Anil's mark plus equal to x, but we can't call x plus equal to Anil's mark. Just to demonstrate that, here I'm gonna write x plus equal to and then Anil's mark. So I'm going to save this, I'm going to build and run this program, and we get the error. And if I open up the logs, it says error, no match for operator plus equal to in x plus equal to Anil's mark. That's because here we have defined the operator overloading function for the class to which this Anil's mark object belongs. So here this Anil's mark object is going to call this operator overloaded function. But here when we use x plus equal to Anil's mark, this x is an object of this class integers, and in that integers class we haven't defined an operator function to work with an object of type Anil's mark, and that's why we get the error. So this is it guys, this is how you guys can overload the shorthand operators plus equal to and minus equal to, and also you guys can overload the operators using the friend functions. So thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.